Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked where I climb the online VGC 20 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. In the last two episodes of Road to Ranked, we used Sejun Park's team, the team that was able to get to number 1 on the ladder, and I am not surprised by how good it is, but it has been so fun to play with. So check out the last two episodes if you've not already. We had some really awesome games with this team, so we're playing one more episode with it today. Of course, this is a rental, so you can learn more in the description below. Go give Sejun a follow on Twitch and Twitter if you don't already. And yeah, eager to just close out our time with this team. So let's get into today's episode of Road to Ranked. Thank you as always for watching. If you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. And with the question of the day today, as we look for our first game, moving a little bit away from the competitive or just the casual Pokemon questions and something completely unrelated. I was looking at cereal brands and I was trying to figure out like what cereal to buy for breakfast. So question of the day, I want to know what your favorite brand of cereal is. For me, some of the answers would definitely have to be Rice Krispies or Frosted Flakes. I think Frosted Flakes is my GOAT tier cereal, but let me know in the comments below. Anyway, we're going to find our first opponent of the day, and that's a really cool team. There's a Reuniclus, which I always love to see, as well as a Hatterene. So obviously some Trick Room combos here. Honestly, when I see those, I kind of expect to see like a Riolu or a Liepard just to go for the copycat Max Guard Trick Room play, but it looks like that's not a thing here. Volcarona is really cool here as well. It's dual Fire, dual Psychic, and then you got Urshifu and Milotic. So, let's see. We've seen how good Decidueye can be, especially against these Psychic-type Pokemon, or anything that's weak to Ghost, basically. But what's stopping me from leading Raichu Drifbloom is the question. I guess my opponent can go with the Volcarona plus one of the Trick Room centers to go Rage Powder Trick Room turn 1. So if I want to counter that, I could lead Decidueye to go Phantasm. Is Trick Room going to come out here from the opposing end? I think it's decently likely because Hatterene under Trick Room looks really good against us. So maybe I make a little bit of a gamble here and lead Arcanine and Decidueye to try to counter the Trick Room stuff with the Urshifu in the back. You would think Amoonguss would be good here, but there's so many things that hit it for super effective, it makes me a little wary. And there's actually no electric resist on the opposing end, so I actually kind of like Raichu just for pure offense here. So this is definitely going to be an interesting matchup. I think there's definitely a bunch of different game modes my opponent can go with, and so like leading Arcanine into this is always a little risky because my opponent could lead Milotic, but I'm not as concerned because I have an electric type attack on Arcanine and I have Decidueye, so even if Milo comes out, I can just double up onto Milo for a KO. But it is Hatterene Volcarona. Okay, that's kind of what I was expecting. So I'm pretty happy to see that, honestly. Because I can just go for a Phantasm. I mean, the problem here is that Volcarona could just go for a fire type attack onto Decidueye, right? So let's see. So it's the lead I was expecting. And I'm also expecting Sash on the Volk. But I guess you could be Sash on Hat. So like I'm leaning towards Bulldoze, Max, and Phantasm here. Because with the Max, we should survive any attack from the Volcarona. The Bulldoze breaks a potential Sash on either Pokemon, lowers Volcarona's speed, and then I get a defense drop on Volcarona as well. So then Arcanine can just Flare Blitz the subsequent turn for a knockout. So let's see. We Dynamax first, which means at least it's no Dynamax Volcarona. That could have been potentially kind of scary to see, like Max Volcarona with Max Flare. But yeah, I mean, once again, when I saw this team, I thought it was mainly oriented around Drifbloom, but turns out Decidueye is actually really nuts. We don't get to bring Drifbloom as much in the last couple of episodes because like we've gone against so many Trick Room teams, so it's just harder to really justify bringing it. We are going to see a Max come out. Is it Max? I mean, is it slow Volcarona then, or is it Max Hat? It's another Max Hat. Okay, so this is the second time this has happened. Which makes a lot of sense. Like, you know, my opponent's probably just like, I'm not going to be able to survive if I don't Max here, so I'm just going to kind of go for it immediately. Okay, so we get the Bulldoze off. It doesn't do that much. There's no Rage Powder here, but, you know, that makes sense. We'll see what Volcarona goes for. Probably like an Overheat or a Heat Wave. Yep, okay, that makes sense. We do take a fair amount. I don't think Phantasm KOs here, so we might just be down to Dynamax immediately, which isn't great. That's almost a KO onto Hatterene, though, and actually, I think this is fine, because even if you knock out the Decidueye, I get the defense drop, and I'm faster with both Pokemon now, so I can just bring in the Urshifu and just pick up 2 knockouts the next turn. But the Mind Storm actually goes onto Arcanine, okay, and we survive. Nice. That is the power of the Assault Vest Arcanine. So we're in fantastic shape now. Because now what I can go for is just go for Flare Blitz onto the Volcarona for a KO. Yeah, with the defense drop, that should be a knockout onto Volcarona. It's not Life Orb on Hatterene either. So we can Flare Blitz here, and what I want to do is Overgrowth to change the terrain. Doubling up onto Volk might have made more sense, but I think the play I'm going for here covers all of our options. So, yeah. What was good for us in this game was being able to read into the lead. Because if Trick Room goes up once again, we're in pretty bad shape. Normally, Amoonguss is a good Trick Room answer, but given that my opponent has Hatterene, Min Speed Hatterene obviously outspeeds Min Speed Amoonguss under Trick Room. Amoonguss can't even go for Spore onto Hatterene. So, yeah. Amoonguss was also... I guess actually I could have led Amoonguss, because I do have the Aqua Berry, but I don't feel great about that. Okay, so Volt goes for Protect. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see a double Protect here, but let's see. Yeah. That's fine. I mean, I think now my opponent's in a really, really awkward spot in this next turn because I have full offensive pressure and I'm pressuring 2 knockouts. So the main thing we'll want to basically read into is the potential switch outs. It's also good to know that Arcanine outspeeds the Volcarona, even pre-Bulldoze. That's really valuable information. So if you look at what my opponent can switch in here, there's not a single Ghost Resist. However, Overgrowth does give us the terrain, which means... Oh, we don't have Grassy Glide anyway, though. Because I think it's likely my opponent, you know, just double switches here. So I don't really feel the need to play super aggressively here, though, because we have so much offense in the back, too. So I'm kind of content just going for... I think I'll Phantasm here instead of Overgrowth being. That covers everything. Maxes minus its damage in case Arcanine switches in. But no switch-ins, so it's just a double KO. Flare Blitz comes out, and yep, this is the beauty of offensive Arcanine. So I could have set up the grassy terrain here, which might have been kind of nice, because then I... But once again, like, I wanted to cover for an Arcanine switch in there. Phantasm is just so much better than Overgrowth in the chance Arcanine comes out, right? So this is still fine, considering what I have in the back, right? I should be able to outspeed my opponent's entire team. I have Raichu, I have Urshifu. I think we probably bring out Urshifu right now. If you think of what my opponent can have in the back, there's Reuniclus, which obviously we beat with the Decidueye. There's Milotic, which Decidueye also beats. There's Arcanine. And I think if Arcanine's coming out, we probably want to bring out the Urshifu. Yeah. I'm blanking out on the 4th Pokemon. I actually don't remember, but I think we're in good shape. Okay, so there's Urshifu. Oh, they have their own Urshifu. That's right. And Reuniclus. Okay. Reuniclus could actually be kind of scary. So if I went for Overgrowth, I would have changed terrain, been able to bring out Raichu, and then probably just fake out and, like, Poltergeist. It is Dark Urshifu as well, so this is actually still really scary. Actually, if you're my opponent, can't you just go... Oh, yeah, this is why actually changing the terrain might have been essential. There's only 2 turns of terrain left. I mean, I think I need to switch Decidueye into Raichu, quite frankly. And close combat into the Urshifu. Yeah, they didn't end up having the Arcanine in the back. But I guess there's not much reason to bring Arcanine against this team, so I should have taken that into account. Oh, okay. He's not Sash on Urshifu, though. So now we'll see, does Reuniclus go for Trick Room? What was it up for? Or Expanding Force? Yeah, it goes for Trick Room. Okay. So what I can do now is double Protect. That's the last turn of Terrain gone. Yeah. And then just start getting damage off. Because then I have Prio. I have Aqua Jet and the Shadow Sneak. So I think we'll be okay here. But yeah, let's just go for double Protect this turn. And this is the nice thing about having Protect on Raichu as well. The reason I switched out Raichu into Raichu is because I was like, I need Decidueye for damage into Reuniclus. And Raichu's not as important as Decidueye, which has both Shadow Sneak and Poltergeist. So there's Expanding Force. I actually think if my opponent Expanding Force last turn... Actually, no, we would have won if they did that. Because then we just get the... we get the free switch in. Okay, given that we have Focus Sash, I actually think Brutal Swing Aqua Jet's the play here. Because, like, Reuniclus just can't do enough damage to everything at this point. I don't want to Volt Tackle because I don't want to break my Sash in case Reuniclus targets the Urshifu, which it really should. Yeah, that's pretty solid damage. Like, we have so much priority with this team, which is the beauty of it, right? So there's Expanding Force, and yep, there's the Urshifu target. So what this allows me to do is now I've conserved the Bolt Tackle. I also get a single target Brutal Swing, and with Raichu being as offensive as it is, this should actually be a 2-hit KO, I think. Let's see. Brutal Swing comes out. Yeah, that's a 2-hit KO. Nice. So now what we can do is just bring out Decidueye. I have Shadow Sneak. So Reuniclus shouldn't have a spread type attack that knocks out both Pokemon here. This is why we needed to stall out the terrain, basically. So let's go Shadow Sneak here. I think we go for Volt Tackle, which is just stronger here. And you can't knock out both Pokemon, and I have the Focus Sash on Raichu, so we should be good. Yeah. Shadow Sneak, I think we'll leave this with probably like 5 to 10%. Oh, it just picked up the knockout. Never mind. I'm sorry for doubting you, Decidueye. This Pokemon is so good. I mean, this team just, like, it fits really, really well into the team. So, yeah, I think what was really essential this game, though, was denying Trick Room, and we had to lead pretty specifically to deny the Trick Room, because if Trick Room goes up, we're in pretty bad shape. So, often when you're using a hyper-offensive team similar to this one, you have to ask yourself consistently, like with hyper-offense, often if Trick Room goes up, you're just in awful shape because your Pokemon are pretty frail, and Trick Room is just going to be able to overwhelm you with offense. So, it's relatively predictable what the most common Trick Room leads are, right? You're often going to lead Fake Out or Redirection with the Trick Room user, so seeing something like Amoonguss or a Volcarona, which have Rage Powder next to a Trick Room user makes a lot of sense. Otherwise, a Fake Out user. Or something super offensive, like in yesterday's episode, there was that Darmanitan, which puts on a lot of pressure immediately, and it's often super fast as well. So, if you're able to anticipate those Trick Room leads, it becomes like slightly easier, I would say. Or even a lot easier, because if you don't, then you're in really bad shape. So, yeah. Just as I talk about Trick Room, this is like the 4th Trick Room team in 5 games? The world just does not want me to lead Decidueye. Or sorry, Drifloon. I mean, I think Decidueye, Arcanine, Urshifu are must-brings. Probably Raichu, although Amoonguss could actually work here. Especially because we have Sludge Bomb for super effective damage. But I think the Decidueye Arcanine lead is just super, super good against Trick Room, so we can go with that. Actually, the alternative is Decidueye Amoonguss. And the reason for Amoonguss here is so that I can just Spore Dusclops turn 1 or Sludge Bomb Hatterene turn 1. So what do I think my opponent's going to lead with, I guess, is the question. Amoonguss Hat, Amoonguss Dusclops, both of those are likely. I actually think we must bring Amoonguss here as a Spore switch in, too. So, yeah. If they lead Dusclops Amoonguss, like, I really want to go Decidueye Amoonguss. I'm going to go Decidueye Amoonguss, because Amoonguss should outspeed Hatterene, since Hat should be min speed, too. So then, even if Amoonguss comes out, we can just Phantasm Sludge Bomb turn 1. Okay, that's what I'm leaning towards. Yeah. This one's a little trickier, because my opponent could call me out super hard. Well, I guess if you lead Marowak, you're not doing much damage. Maybe Arcanine was fine then, because then we intimidate Marowak too, in case that comes out. But Primarina lead would be kind of scary. I guess we had Decidueye for it. Yeah, they go with Marowak, so this is why Arcanine could have been good. I feel like it's still not terrible, though. Especially, actually, because we have Aqua Berry, I think what we can do here is actually just hard switch into Arcanine with the Aqua Berry. We should survive any attack from the Marowak and just put it to sleep. Because I think Marowak's going to want to Dynamax here very frequently. So, if I went with the Arcanine Decidueye lead I was originally thinking of, I could have probably just gone Bulldoze Phantasm, and I would think that's actually a KO onto Marowak, but then you could protect Marowak and Spore the Arcanine turn 1. So then it's kind of a read. But I actually feel pretty good about this because we have the Aqua on the Amoonguss. So, barring a critical hit, should be able to put Marowak to sleep. I could see Marowak protecting, but like Amoonguss here isn't going to really Spore into Decidueye, right? Maybe he goes for a Sludge Bomb. And sorry, the camera keeps filtering out. Let me turn off the auto filter real quick, because I know that can be annoying. But yeah, we get Intimidate out here regardless, which is pretty good. Let's see. Alright, there we go. Oh, it's a little too much. Okay, perfect. And there's the Marowak max. I mean, if anytime you can put a Dynamax Pokemon to sleep turn 1, that's really good. So, I'm assuming it's Max Flare coming out. That would actually be great to see too, right? Because then you set up the Sun, which means the Arcanine can just do so much damage with Flare Blitz. Maybe it was bold of me to assume Amoonguss would survive after the Intimidate and the Aqua Berry, so let's find out. Oh, it's actually flaring into Decidueye, even better. Nice. Actually, it does a hefty amount, so I wouldn't be surprised if my opponent went for Max Flare and Spore into that slot, but now we put the Marowak to sleep, which is great, right? Pollen Puff. That's really interesting because, as you saw, you actually see a little bit of an animation. Okay, now we're in fantastic shape, because I can just go Flare Blitz. Amoonguss probably protects here, though, but it's still safe to cover that option and just go out into Decidueye. Actually, I mean, if Amoonguss protects here, I get some chip, that'd be really valuable. I mean, there's just no way you staying with Amoonguss here, right? So I could just play it low aggressively and go for damage, but if Amoonguss, like, hard calls me out in Spores... is that even that bad? Flare Blitz and Sun will do a hefty amount to Marowak, which I think puts it in Phantasm KO range. Yeah. Because even if you Spore Arcanine, Decidueye comes out, you can't Spore Decidueye, I can just max to KO Marowak the next turn. Unless they just went for, like, Pollen Puff here, which would be odd. I feel like your play here is to protect or switch out. Yep, that's the switch out. That's fine. Into Hat, yeah, that's fine. Flare Blitz there would have done so much, though. But let's see how much Sun boosted Flare Blitz does to Marowak. Pretty good damage there. Okay, not bad. I guess the only concern here now is if you're Focus Sash Hatterene and you get the one-turn Wake Up. It's already 2 turns of max. It honestly might be better to not even bother maxing here. And just Flare Blitz into Hatterene and Leaf Blade it. If Marowak stays asleep for another turn, that's pretty much instant game over. Even if you KO Decidueye, I can max the... Because I really can't let Trick Room go up, right? That's the problem. And I can max Urshifu potentially. Although I guess it doesn't do much into Amoonguss. Maybe we max Arcanine. Yeah, I'm actually going to max Arcanine here. Because Marowak, I think, is definitely targeting Decidueye here anyway. I just don't want Trick Room to go up. I don't even know if Marowak can one-shot the Arcanine after... if it has Max Quake, probably. But I feel like Decidueye is the clear target here. So even though we've taken a lot of damage on Arcanine, I think it's fine in this position. But the reason I'm maxing here is because I don't think we want to max Amoonguss, obviously. If I max Decidueye this turn and Marowak gets the one-turn wake-up, that's pretty bad for us. Because we just waste our max completely. Okay, it looks like Marowak was going for the Protect anyway, so yeah. This is why I wanted to double up on Hat. And I didn't want to go for Poltergeist, because Poltergeist could miss here. But it's not Sash on Hat, actually. Okay. So Flare Blitz switching out last turn also would have worked out equally as well, but yeah. Now we are putting on a ton of offensive pressure. If Amoonguss comes out, I just Flare into that slot. Poltergeist to KO Marowak. It's going to be Dusclops, which is also fine. The one thing with Dusclops we want to consider is the potential of Ally Switch. I want to keep that in mind. Because this is still potentially losable. How do I lose this? Marowak would need to wake up? I wonder if Max Quick one-shots Marowak from this range. I could Flare and Poltergeist Dusclops here. Just get another knockout. I think that seems fine. I think Marowak now might go for a Protect. Like, once again, my opponent's plays probably Protect Trick Room, but they might read into that. Because if I KO Marowak, I'll win here. Actually, given that we have Shadow Sneak, I think it's fine to just Max Quake Marowak and Poltergeist it. Because there's no way my opponent wins if Marowak goes down, because they have no more offense anymore. It looks like they did go for another Protect, so yeah, double up on a Dusclops also would have been fine. But I think in this position, it's fine to think like Marowak's attacking, and Max Quake actually just gets the one-shot anyway, so nice. So now it's like, okay, Trick Room goes up, but what are you going to do at this point, right? I'm wondering if Poltergeist puts the Dusclops in Shadow Sneak KO range. Let's see how much damage this does. Obviously, we got a low fortunate with the 3-turn sleep, but I don't think it actually really made too much of a difference. Because, like, the thing is here, even if Marowak gets the Protect off, I do damage through the Protect, and then it's probably just in Shadow Sneak KO range the next turn anyway. Dusclops actually took that better than I thought. But, yeah. I mean, I don't think my opponent really has too many outs now. You can't even Spore Decidueye. And they have Pollen Puff. Normally, if you have, you can only have one coverage move on Amoonguss because you want Amoonguss, Spore, Rage Powder, Protect, and then, you know, your 4th attack. So, we're up 4-2 now. You probably Spore into the Arcanine. So, I can actually just make that read and go out into Amoonguss immediately. Because then I can just put the Dusclops to sleep. What's the alternative? Just attacking here? That actually also seems okay. I mean, you have to Spore Arcanine here, otherwise I'm just going to Max Flare into Amoonguss. Yeah, you know what? Let's just hard go out into Amoonguss here. And I'm going to go for a Swords Dance here, mainly because I think Dusclops will probably want a Pain Split. So, yeah. My opponent doesn't have much offense left, but we still have to be a little bit careful about this. But having 2 grass types means that I can't get put to sleep, which is good. I don't want to bother targeting Dusclops because he can probably Pain Split, and there might be Pollen Puff here, but it's actually going to be Ally Switch, which I don't mind. So Ally Switch, Trick Room. Yeah, there's Spore. Nice. This is why I was like, if I knocked out the Marowak, it's just over. Yeah, because as soon as Marowak goes down, there's just no offense anymore, especially because Amoonguss already revealed the Pollen Puff earlier. I wonder if +2 Shadow Sneak KOs Dusclops. Probably better to just Poltergeist here, right? We have Spore into Dusclops as well, so Spore. If Dusclops Ally switches, then Poltergeist into Amoonguss. Yeah, that's super safe. Like, Decidueye just rolls through this. Okay, Pain Split comes out, but that's fine. Unless Amoonguss actually has Sludge Bomb this entire time. That would be really interesting. Maybe I should have just gone for Shadow Sneak. I didn't know if that was a KO. Nah, I just Pollen Puffs. Okay, that shouldn't KO us. Yeah, that does not do very much. +2 Poltergeist. It's actually Mentorb. I love, by the way, that Poltergeist actually shows you the item that's coming out here, too. So, confirming that kind of stuff is always valuable. Yeah, so now I can just Sludge Bomb into Amoonguss and Poltergeist into Dusclops. Actually, Shadow Sneak's probably more consistent because you can't miss. And I would think Shadow Sneak's into a KO here, but I don't know for sure. Either way, though, there's really not much my opponent can do at this point in the game. I think a Sludge Bomb here might just KO as well. Yeah, nice. So, didn't really end up mattering. As soon as, like, we spored Marowak turn 1, we were in fantastic shape. Because putting the Dynamax Pokemon to sleep and only letting it get 1 turn of Dynamax is so big. Once again, you know, we got a little bit fortunate with the 3-turn sleep, but I don't think it really mattered because on turn 2, if you wake up there, I doubled up onto the Hatterene anyway. And on turn 3, if you wake up there, I guess then actually the concern is that if it does wake up there, then because Dusclops has Ally Switch, my opponent could have actually pulled up and come back with Marowak. So for the reason of Ally Switch, I think doubling up onto Dusclops just to guarantee a KO might have been safer there. Yeah. Okay, either way, though, I mean, once again, you can see how Decidueye just rolls through these Trick Room teams. I mean, it's not Decidueye alone, it's a combination of Decidueye plus Arcanine, but, yeah, it's super, super strong. So, not bad. As we look for our last match. I really like playing with this team. I think it's definitely my favorite Series 16 thus far, but excited to feature some more teams and show off just other things that are viable in the format as well. But, yeah, I mean, once again, like, Decidueye was not even on my radar. I would not have predicted it to be like a super good Pokemon up until this point, and it has just been like lights out in all the Trick Room matchups that we brought it in, even in some of the non-Trick Room matchups too. And once again, that's just a testament to how good like Dynamax Ghost is specifically, and now with Dragapult no longer fulfilling that role. Well, Decidueye actually does it pretty well. Finally, no Trick Room. Okay. Noivern and Vanilluxe and Kangaskhan though, that's a really cool core. Feels like I'm playing WBE. Seeing stuff like that. I mean, I feel like I can just get away with Raichu and Drifblim then. Actually, Decidueye and Drifblim is interesting in this specific scenario because if I lead Raichu, you can fake out with Kangaskhan. Whereas with Decidueye, I can just go straight for Shadow Sneak immediately. My only fear is Dark Urshifu with, and obviously just like, and if it crits Wicked Blow, that'd be bad. If I'm my opponent, what am I leading? Would you really lead Kangaskhan into Ghosts? Oh, actually, Kangaskhan could be scrappy. I would think you'd run Inner Focus, but I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I could also just go Raichu, Drifblim, double Protect turn 1. Like, that's always a possibility. Ooh, Who do we want in the back here? This one's interesting, because, like, Arcanine for Intimidate, not really that valuable, because Urshifu's going to crit through it anyway. It's more of kind of as a defensive wall. Amoonguss for Spores is not bad here, especially with Akaberry. All of our Pokemon are viable here. I want Decidueye because I think Milotic is a huge threat on the opposing end. This one's really tricky. It's tricky in the sense that I think all of our Pokemon are good. So that's a good problem to have. I'm going to go Decidueye and Urshifu, because my opponent's team is, like, pretty fast. But I think Amoonguss actually makes a lot of sense here, because we have the Akaberry for Flare Blitz from Arcanine, and Amoonguss should be able to survive, like, a Blizzard. So there's not much that, like, pressures it with a one-hit KO. Even getting a single Spore off against my opponent's team, I think would be pretty valuable. So, we'll see. Okay. Kangaskhan and Noivern. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So this is good. Noivern could totally max here as well. But they know we have policy. Like, I'm actually leaning towards Protect Raichu turn 1 so that we can Brutal Swing turn 2. And we have Max Hailstorm here into Noivern. I think if you're my opponent here, you go Fake Out onto Raichu and Tailwind or Max it. And then, I don't know, Airstream is a possibility. Airstream wouldn't be that bad to see here, though, would it? Oh, it could be, actually. At least I have Decidueye to potentially proc Policy later on, too, so that's good. Yeah, I'm going to Protect Max. I want a Hailstorm Noivern super bad turn 1. I don't know if it's a KO. Let's find out. Yeah, they max. I don't know, I mean, if we can just pick up a one-hit KO on Noivern turn 1, like, we also probably just win the game off that, so that's why I'm going for this play. And even if you have Shadow Ball and you have Phantasm and a Drifbloom, you know we have Policy, so I think you gotta be a little bit aware of the Policy. This could backfire on me, though. I think Airstream is probably the more consistent play, but here was my concern, right? Noivern's naturally faster than the Raichu, so if I Airstream and my opponent also Airstreams, then the next turn, Noivern just gets another Airstream off, you can double up onto Raichu for a knockout, so I don't get the Brutal Swing off. I have no idea what a Hailstorm into the Noivern does here, like how much damage it does, so I guess we'll find out. But either way, it's fun to just go for Hailstorm turn 1. And if maybe I should have been willing to give up Raichu, because then I get Drifbloom in for Decidueye in for free. I don't know. Yeah, there's just an Airstream. Yep, into Raichu. Perfect. Okay, now we're in business then. Especially because Drifbloom doesn't end up taking any damage. So that's pretty good. That is pretty good. I think that play makes sense on my opponents, and it's also Life Orb Noivern, so here's the Max Hailstorm from Drifbloom. Oh, that was a crit. That crit might have mattered. I'm going to calculate real quick because I'm actually super curious. I mean, the game's over at this point after that turn 1. Drifbloom into Dynamax Noivern. Now, Dynamax Noivern is normally not going to really have any bulk, so Icy Wind Max is base 110. Yeah, that definitely mattered. I think even with no bulk, you'd be surviving with a little bit of HP. Between like 15 to 25 HP there. Well, we take those. I think we would have still been in great shape, honestly, even if we didn't get that crit, but now we're even in better shape. It is Dark Urshifu, though, so let's see. You could crit into Drifbloom. That would really hurt. And then Kangaskhan's faster than Raichu right now. Okay, so because the Hail's up, actually, we have a super safe play here, which is just Volt Tackle into Urshifu and Max Guard. What this allows me to do the next turn is Urshifu's potential Sash is broken. I bring in Decidueye. I just go Shadow Sneak Max Airstream into Urshifu. No reason to risk it here. What? Okay, I gotta say, I absolutely was not expecting Last Resort. But that's cool. I could have also just switched Raichu out there. Maybe that would have been the play. But now we know Kangaskhan is Fake Out on Last Resort. That's crazy. What? That's really cool. Okay, so we get Decidueye out. Let's just go Shadow Sneak now into Drifbloom. We get the policy. We go for Airstream into Urshifu. Yep, that's super safe. Wow, that's really cool. Last Resort Kangaskhan. Okay. So yeah, I think if we didn't get that crit turn one, what I do the next turn is probably the same play where I max guard, sack the Raichu, and then get Decidueye in for free. Because Kangaskhan already doesn't have much to hit the ghosts unless you have Sucker Punch. Actually, once again, it could be Scrappy. Could be Scrappy. Oh, if Urshifu just goes Big Brain and Sucker Punches here, I wonder if that's enough for a knockout. Let's see. It is Scrappy. Okay, but we get the Airstream off, so I think we're fine. It also outsped us, by the way. And Drifbloom gets another crit. I feel like I'm running Crit Kiss right now. Obviously, that one didn't matter. But, yeah. Okay. And the nice thing about setting up the Hail is it also allows us to confirm that the speed tiers here. So we're faster than Kangaskhan now. So obviously, it only has Fake Out and Last Resort. So can't even go for like a Protect or anything. So we can safely target that slot next turn. But Last Resort Kangaskhan. That's nuts. Ooh, there's Vanilluxe though, and that means you can Ice Shard. Hold on. You can Ice Shard. This is still far from over. This Last Resort Kangaskhan is actually such a threat, especially because it's actually Scrappy. It was Scrappy this whole dang time. Does Ice Shard KO is the question. I actually feel like my play is to Shadow Sneak here and Protect. If they don't go for Ice Shard, it means they don't have it. Because I think if you have it, you have to go for it here. And if Decidueye goes down, that's not terrible because I get a free switch into Urshifu. Okay, so we get Shadow Sneak off. The play there was to break a Sash. Yeah, there's Ice Shard. And another Last Resort. This is so strong. Oh, but Decidueye hung on. Oh. Then that was a mistake. I should have, oh no. I thought it would faint. Oh no. It's the last turn of Hail. I mean, now the question is, does Ice Shard KO Drifbloom? I actually think it does. Oh, this Scrappy Kangaskhan is so good. If I just went Leaf Blade onto the Vanilluxe, I would have won there. But I wanted to break a Sash for an Urshifu endgame. That might have been a misplay then. I would think Ice Shard knocks out Drifbloom, but I guess it comes down to how invested you are. This is nuts. Yeah, I'm just gonna Leaf Blade Kangaskhan. Shadow Ball. But I think, like, I was expecting to get a free switch in there. That's the problem. I did not think we'd actually survive. And yeah, that's a KO on Drifbloom. Honestly, props to my opponent. I did not see Last Resort Kangaskhan coming out. This is so strong. It's so strong. It's still winnable, though, honestly, because we still have Urshifu. But the problem is, like Kangaskhan getting that speed boost was actually so cool. Like, my opponent, that lead, I was expecting Kangaskhan to be more support-oriented, but you can see that a single Airstream turns Kangaskhan actually into a huge offensive beast. Yeah, so I think we Surging Strikes here. I would think with Life Orb that KOs Kangaskhan, but I have to say I'm actually not 100% confident. But if we close combat, we get a defense drop, and that means Vanilluxe does more damage, so I don't think we can afford that. This is crazy. I think Vanilluxe seals it up, actually, at this point. My main misplay in this one would have been going for Shadow Sneak instead of just going for Poltergeist or Leaf Blade. Unless Vanilluxe, like, doesn't have Freeze Dry and he goes for Blind Blizzard and misses. Then we would win. He has Ice Shard. I would think Blizzard Protect. Yeah, it's Freeze Dry. Wow, so it's probably full offensive Vanilluxe as well. Oh, yeah, I thought Last Resort would knock us out, thus giving us the free switch in into the Urshifu. Because if we get the free switch into Urshifu, that's better. Because then I have Drifbloom plus Urshifu. You have to Ice Shard the Drifbloom, Ice Surging Strikes to KO the Kangaskhan, and then just close combat the Vanilluxe the subsequent turn. You can't pick up 2 knockouts there. So us not getting a free switch and actually cost us because it meant we had to give up both Pokemon and that my opponent could safely just double up onto my onto my set. So that was crazy. I mean, I've never seen Fake Out Last Resort Kangaskhan, just that set before, so I like losing to that. I don't mind because like now I know that's a possible set. That was one of the coolest Kangaskhan sets and really well played, especially because of Scrappy. Like, the entire time I was like, oh, I'm safe, right? Like, you're going to be inner focused, but Scrappy obviously makes a ton of sense if you're running offensive Kangaskhan. Really want to know what the item on that is. Super curious, because, you know, you probably want something just to boost the power of the Last Resorts. So, yeah, I mean, that felt like a game we shouldn't have lost after turn 1, and honestly, it's kind of inexcusable to lose. But the problem was that not knowing the ability on Kangaskhan made me a little bit wary. The fact like Kangaskhan was so fast was scary too. So I've never seen a combo like that before, but that's really cool. Like I said, the one play we could have made differently was just going for Poltergeist or Leaf Blade with the Decidueye instead of immediately Shadow Sneaking. I wanted a Shadow Sneak there because I was like, oh, you're just going to knock us out. We get a free switch into the Urshifu. I break the potential Sash. And then we should just win from there. So I don't really regret that play too much. Like, we were so close to getting knocked out by Last Resort and Hail. Without knowing that damage calc, I thought it was a fair assumption to make, but talk about a crazy, crazy set of games. But that was really fun. So that's going to wrap our time up with this team. I hope you all enjoyed. I had a blast playing with it, so thanks to Sejun once again for building it and for making it public. You can find out the team once again in the description below. Give Sejun a follow, check him out. And thanks as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all soon. All right, peace.